Hi, this is Zak Mir with the Bulletin Board Heroes here at Vox Markets for Tuesday, the 20th of July. And starting off with one of the more difficult shares at the moment, especially given the way that we've got Bitcoin back below $30,000, which wasn't perhaps supposed to happen. Support points here are the recent low at 82 pence, which I think we hit on Friday. And then perhaps more importantly, the bottom of that gap there from the end of January at 74.5 pence. If we break 82, then that's possibly where the shares will head down to. May provide a long opportunity for those who are into this particular stock. Otherwise, the earliest normal buy position here, or momentum trigger here, would be an end of day close back above the May floor at 96 pence. Above that, then we would then be able to target once again the 200-day moving average, still rising at £1.15, and the fact that it's still rising does imply that the shares could still rescue themselves from the latest breakdown that we have seen. Onto a stock which doesn't get much coverage, but here it is today with some news as well. Goldplat, and the situation here is that we've broken a line of resistance that's been in place on the daily chart since October. We've got a rising trend channel from last summer, and that's heading towards 12 pence. And the longer the shares remain above that broken resistance line, or if they can give us a decent weekly close above 7.5 pence, then we could see 12 pence for the stock over the next 2 to 3 months. We've had a long consolidation here, so hopefully now the logjam is starting to break. There'll be decent momentum in the shares. At this stage, only back below 7 pence, which is post-April support, really delaying the upside scenario. On to a stock which has been in the wars of late, but maybe a potential recovery situation. Here we've got MySale, where there's been the break, or at least an initial break here of the falling wedge that's been in place on the daily chart since January. The level there around 7.25 pence, so really looking for a weekly close above that particular level to then open up potential upside. Obviously plenty of resistance at 8 pence, but the best case scenario target at the moment up to the rising 200-day moving average at 9 pence, perhaps by the end of next month. The other plus at the moment is the way that yesterday gave us a brief bear trap below 7 pence, and the shares have spent the whole of the day so far above 7 pence. A bit of a bear trap rebound for MySale at the moment. 9 pence perhaps by the end of next month if everything goes to plan. On to Cora, which has been one of the star plays over the recent weeks. And here we've got a situation where after yesterday's carnage in the market, the shares actually went below the old October resistance at 10.5 pence, but it's only been a brief affair. End of day close back above 10.5 pence today could take the shares back up to retesting the July peaks to date at 14.25, perhaps by the end of next month. A stock which can be a bit of a punter's favourite, and hopefully will regain that status quite soon, is Clontarf. I think I covered it earlier in the month, where it looked as though the shares would be able to break that resistance line from December. They didn't quite do it. We're having another go now at 40.41. End of day close, I suppose, now above the initial July resistance at 0.43. That was could be the sign that we're going to then break out towards 0.6 pence plus over the next 6 to 8 weeks, or the following 6 to 8 weeks. The recovery idea is in place while we hold above the 50-day moving average, currently at 0.36, above 0.36. A potential recovery there for Clontarf. Obviously, the bullish situation is rather thin on the ground at the moment, so that brings us to e-Therapeutics, rather. Here we've broken this line of resistance from back in April. And also broken above the 200-day moving average at 20.75 pence. Above that, looking for a return towards maybe the mid-20s. There's a gap there up there from June around 26 pence, and maybe that could be seen by the end of next month. Upside valid while we hold above the old April support there around the 19 pence area. So above 19, looking for 26 eventually on e-Therapeutics. One of the stars of the past few weeks has been Darktrace. Not normally the type of stock we look at, but worth having a look here just because of the abundance of positive candles that we've had almost every day over the last week. Shares heading quite rapidly towards the target that was set at the top of that rising trend channel from back in May. That's promising as a target at £8, and that's valid while we hold above the yesterday's high at basically around the 688 level. So above 68, looking for 688 rather, looking for £8 over the next couple of weeks at Darktrace. Stock which has been in the wars, one of the many, I suppose, at the moment, Ebbgen Farmer. Here it's interesting to see how the shares are, we had obviously a horrible gap down, probably looking for a proper weekly close above the floor of the gap there at 5.25. So maybe if we can get that at the end of the week, that might be a sign that the shares are starting to rehabilitate themselves. Although I can understand that many people might just want to avoid a falling knife in the current climate. Another stock which is not normally the type of thing that we look at here, but because we don't have many to look at on the bullish side, here it is, Jarvis Securities. Nice gap through the 50-day moving average at the end of last week. Tested that as support around £2.60, and the longer we remain above the 50-day line, the greater the chance of a move towards £3.60, perhaps as soon as the end of next month. Moving along to the last stock in the selection today, Sarim Holdings, which I suppose looks like paradise compared to some of the other situations we've seen earlier in this particular update. Rising trend channel from March. We broken yesterday on a down day, on a very painful down day for the market. We broke that resistance line there from June, so that shows some strength in the stock. And the longer we remain above 6.75, the greater the chance of a move towards 14 pence, perhaps by the end of September. If you're looking for further confirmation, probably a weekly close above 8 pence, yesterday's high, would be enough to get the shares on their way. The latest rally starting with an unfilled gap through resistance at the end or the beginning of June is a pretty good setup, and the shares have certainly delivered the goods so far. This looks like a mid-move consolidation, so a move towards 14 pence is a likely scenario for the shares the longer they remain above 6.75. That's it for me today. More updates tomorrow.